Hey, this is Notser, and we are in the Tier 9 German destroyer Z-46, or Z-46 if you're not American. She has 19,900 health, a top speed of 37.5 knots, 6 128mm guns, 8 torpedoes, a surface detect of 5.9 kilometers, and 38 AA defense rating. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, improved torpedo rearm, improved crit protection on propulsion, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, preventative maintenance, torpedo acceleration, last stand, faster torpedo rearm, superintendent, and concealment again. We are on the map Tears of the Desert, and I aggressively push forward, maybe a little bit too aggressive, and we scraped the island. I was so lucky I was not paying attention to the island at all, and thankfully I was able to get out. But the Z-46, this is not your strength. Your strength is to disengage, use your smoke, gun from your smoke, send your torpedoes, hope that you get a hit. That's what I'm hoping to get on the Shiratsuyu. Perhaps they are sitting in their smoke, stationary. So there's a couple types of people that you might run into. Some are very comfortable with the smoke play. Being in smoke, expecting smoke, anti-torpedo work, that sort of thing. And then there are others who are not, and they stay in a predictable location. The enemy destroyer was comfortable with it. Now, there's 3 destroyers within my range. I really didn't like the odds on this flank. I said, you know what? Notser, it's not really worth your life to die right now. There's 4 enemy ships at A. There's a 5th that could come assist from B point. I think I'm going to head over to B point and try and enhance the BC area of the map. Maybe that's the wrong choice, but that's my mentality. There was just not enough on this flank for me to justify risking my ship. There was only an Akatsuki, and I don't want to do it. I don't want one single ship to dictate whether I stay or go. So, we're headed back to the center, and again, send your torpedoes. What is it that the Germans are good at? They have a really fast torpedo rearm, and you don't really need a super torpedo to take out a destroyer. If I get a good angle, a good send, unpredictable, avoid the aircraft scouting overhead, it could potentially get me one of these destroyers that is sitting in the smoke. Now, remember I said there are 2 types of destroyers. One who is comfortable working in smoke, and one who isn't. He didn't recognize that I had moved away from the A point, and he suffered for that. He suffered his entire health pool. There are 2 enemies that could potentially move in, and they're making a weird move, like they want to come forward. And I didn't really like the aircraft they are assisting. I think that the Scharnhorst has a double aircraft build. It could also just be a coincidence that both of them have used their aircraft at the same time. So they're sort of running into each other, maybe running into an island, maybe pulling a Notser. My torpedoes are up, of course, because I'm German, and I'm going to send them again. Maybe they're going to be stationary. I wouldn't recommend it if I was on their side, but as the destroyer, I would definitely prefer it if they remain stationary. And for a little bit, a tiny bit, half a second, the Miyoko appeared to want to do that. But of course, he didn't. Now, another aspect of the Germans that is fair, I wouldn't say it's so amazing that you only fire it. The AP is actually pretty good. Whenever someone gives you a side, you should be able to do okay damage. You should want to fire AP whenever they give you a side. Of course, whenever they angle, completely worthless, and you just switch back to HE. But for that 1 in 3, 1 in 4 chance, yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Now my torpedoes are almost back up. This is really what you need to get comfortable with for the Germans. Yes, the per torpedo damage is low, but the rearm is fast. They don't really feel comfortable with that. So I'm trying to send it on a target whenever it is possible to send. I don't want to wait until the perfect opportunity. And what the hell just happened? Alright, well, I didn't realize that I was going to be pushed out of my smoke. I understand, and he's trying to hide himself, but This is not a good location. There are many enemies over here. Many enemies in this flank. I'm overextended, and I see there's potential torpedoes. Clearly they didn't come from the Scharnhorst or anyone else over there. It had to be possibly the Shiratsuyu, who's in the smoke cloud. So we're going to give ground. And we're sort of going to sacrifice the prince. I can't give him smoke. He's already used my smoke. Thankfully, that cruiser's firing AP, which is a terrible choice against me. He should have just fired it against the cruiser. The cruiser is broadside. Why would you fire it at me? It helps me. I have great angle. I'm not going to fire my gun. I'm going to get out to my detectability, which is 5.9, and then I'm going to disappear. I don't really care that I have to run away. The enemy Miyoko is only 3,000. If I fire, it will reset the detectability all over again. So I don't. We boost our way out of there. We get a little lucky with RNG there, and we're good to go. We can reset. Now, the game is not obviously going as well as I would have liked because every flank that I establish, the enemy is pushing into me. So I'm just going to send the torpedoes, wait for my smoke. If my smoke comes up, I will sit in it. There are plenty of friendlies that can detect, and I'm hoping, oh, please, cruiser, don't react, and he sees it. He sees it with just enough time to dodge out of the way. Even with torpedo acceleration, they do most of the time dodge out of the way. And I'm like, surely the Scharnhorst can't dodge out of the way. Dropping my speed. And of course he does. Of course he avoids it completely. But yes, there's no way they can avoid it, right? Yeah, no way. Of course they can avoid it. Notser. But he can't avoid this AP. Look at how good the AP does when he shows his full side. Got to go back to HE until the enemy decides to show his side, potentially. I was like, you know what? I think he's going to widen to address the Izumo. You see the Izumo that's just to my west? Now that he's wide, AP's great. And I sent with a lead expecting that he would gain speed. I don't know that he'll survive, and of course he's not going to survive now that a friendly does a big damage, but if he would have, I think it would have worked out that the torpedoes would hit him. Now the eye was trying to get in on the action, and they are both addressing each other, and I have the flank. I'm going to be able to do massive damage with AP, as long as I can hit my shot. As long as I can hit my shot. There we go, there we go. Gotta get the superstructure. It's not a large caliber. Maybe even the bow if I was close, but not... Most of the ship is not ideal. So the Izumo, for whatever reason, he's opening up. He's going to probably take a broadside. I don't know why. It looks like he's going to run on the island as well. He should have just been bow on, position himself effectively. But he couldn't. He wouldn't. And now we have to try and bail him out with our torpedoes, no less. Friendlies are trying to assist. I don't know why. Okay, the Izumo's almost dead. What is he doing? Why is he turning his guns to me? Why would he just kill the Izumo? Oh wow, he's gonna die before my torpedoes get there too? Are we gonna be getting the last shot on him? I don't know. Nope. Of course not. Enemy destroyers in the area. That's fine. Not a single torpedo has hit since the beginning. That's fine. I just want to kill people with my torpedoes, okay? That's what I was made for. The friendlies, the Izumo's trying to survive. I don't think he's going to survive, though. I think the torpedoes are going to do him in. And I'm going to hold my fire. I don't have boost. I don't have smoke. I do have hydroacoustic. So the plan is that we get close to the destroyer and we use hydroacoustic. That's the plan at this particular moment. Could he change what he's going to do? Absolutely. But that's the plan. And, oh, it looks like he's trying to bail out. But the aircraft spot him out. So now it's like, I'm just going to fire on you. Yes, there are enemies that can fire on me. Enemy Kiev. Enemy North Carolina, potentially. But I think it's worth the risk. I'm not going to hide. Because I don't know how easy he is to spot. So, a combination of moving into his smoke, trying to maintain good angling, waiting until the very last second to drop my smoke, because I really don't want to have to use it. I really want to kill this guy before I smoke. Once I kill him, though, I'm going to smoke, and so close. We could have potentially been a little bit aggressive, and I think he was about to drop off. But he doesn't. Enemy Kiev goes into his friendly smoke. I choose to use Hydroacoustic, and this is where it's unfair. This is where it's like, yeah, he can't see me, but I can see him. And his location is worthless. So a couple shots into his hull. Oh, is he going to burn down, please? He does. Good. Good. And we can transition to the North Carolina. And I could fire AP if I could open up just right. Don't want to get out of the smoke, of course. And of course, how lucky could you get? Smoke, fire, first salvo. And he could potentially have fire prevention. It looks like it's the center, the superstructure. I should really switch to AP, I think, at this point. As HE does damage to a section, the damage output is going to go down. AP does not. AP will do damage until the target has 0 hit points. The idea is fires can devastate a location of a ship, but if the fire is controlled enough, it can't really cause you to go completely under, if that makes sense. Where AP, you could cause a flood that you couldn't recover from. Whereas fire is mostly to do with above water, obviously, because you can't, well, theoretically, you couldn't set yourself on fire. There's been, true lies. They've got oil on fire. We've all seen the cool special effects. So, there is a destroyer and a battleship inside the smoke. They can't see me. I have torpedoes ready to go. I don't have smoke. This is aggressive. I probably will not fire my guns. I probably will only send my torpedoes. And of course, aircraft shows up, so I'm like, we've got to kill it. And I'm thinking, I don't want to, but we have to kill it. It is detecting us. So, we take it out, of course. Luckily, enemy Libereit Maas decides to fire on me. I'm going after the North Carolina. He is probably going to move forward, realizing that he is a threat. Enemy Libereit Maas thinks he can take me. I have AP loaded initially. Go back to HE. Trying to angle against him, hoping that my teammates can do a good job against him. I probably am going to die. This is very close. I was just trying to be as accurate as possible. Oh, it's so close. Mutual destruction. And we're going to get some torpedo hits here. 2, 3. Feels good. It feels good for that to somewhat work out. So now my teammates can easily take the North Carolina out. It was a lucky play. I felt like I couldn't get out of it, so why try to escape? Just try to kill. And look at, speaking of lucky, we got a friendly destroyer, and he is staring down that aircraft carrier, and I think he's gonna torpedo him. He's got his torpedoes lined up, 3 per set, and he's going nose on, which is aggressive, but he takes him out. And that was a pretty good German destroyer game. About exactly what you want to do. Wait on your smoke, use your hydro, speed boost out, torpedo a ton. We earn Confederate, First Blood, Kraken Unleashed, Devastating Strike, 5 kills, 130,000 points of damage done. A lot of base defense, no base capture. I don't know how I swung that. 2,897 base XP. That was base defense. I don't think I actually did that in damage. It was all the defending. But Germans can work out in the right style. Hopefully this was interesting for you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.